Welcome back to the Heal and Restore podcast with your host, me, Randy, and of course, the hostess with the mostest of my beautiful wife, Miss Cathy Boyd.
Why, thank you, honey.
We're dedicated to helping couples and individuals strengthen their relationships through healing, growth, and honest conversation.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's the most important part. We dive into topics like communication, forgiveness, intimacy, family, and emotional connection because healthy love starts with a healed heart.
You got a healthy heart now.
I got a healthy heart now. I got a little helper too.
Yeah, you do.
Tune in each week and take the next step toward restoring what matters most. I don't know if you can see it in the back, but Cathy has some good ideas. So we did a little remodeling of her wall behind us.
Yeah, if you're just listening, that's great.
That's great.
You can tune in and watch us in our silly recording as well.
Added a few things, got the books off of one thing, put them up on a shelf, a couple plants, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
We just did a little house cleaning, that's all.
Cathy always has great ideas. Yeah. What we're going to talk about today, is something that we have been talking about with a lot of our clients lately.
Yeah, it just seems that a lot of these podcast subjects and ideas are fed to us through obstacles that we're working with clients through. So today we're going to discuss a topic that it's a very confusing topic. It can be a very confusing topic if you're not familiar with it. And that's when helping turns into enabling. Understanding the hidden trap of codependency. So I will first identify. Hello, my name is Cathy. I'm codependent. So this is a topic I am very familiar
just so you know, every alcoholic, all you got to do is scratch them a little bit, and they're codependent as well. That's what drives. That's part of the alcoholism.
So I think what makes it very confusing is when we're helping somebody, it just feels like we're doing the right thing. And I want to just start by saying, when we're helping others, as long as it's good and healthy motives, that's when it's a good thing. And we're going to get into a little bit of that too. Yeah,
we got to check our motives. Some people will say, because I'm pretty nice to Cathy a lot. I'm really nice to her, actually. And when I first started doing it, people were going, that's pretty codependent, isn't it, Randy? Yeah. I go, no, because that's not my motive. My motive today is different than it was when I was trying to make up for things that I was hiding.
Yeah, definitely. So the other thing we have to remember, though, is sometimes what feels like love and support can quietly turn into enabling. And I think that's what happened to me, as I felt like I was given all my love and support, but over a period of time, it turned into enabling. So a couple key points I want to kind of point out as you resonate with what we're going to talk about today. One of them is helping supports growth. If we're helping and supporting growth, that's a healthy pattern. But enabling protects unhealthy patterns.
And that right there, helping supports growth, can be very scary and look that's not helping to a lot of people. And the reality is that if we truly love somebody, and we want the best for them, we're gonna protect what they're doing, and we won't always co-sign what they're doing. We're gonna have to make some hard choices.
Right, and that's where the enabling protects the unhealthy patterns. And so what's happening? You continue to enable. You continue to let the unhealthy patterns take place. So, Randy, why don't you start us off with this first question here?
Why does this topic matter?
Why don't you tell us why it matters?
It matters to us, and it matters.
It didn't matter at the beginning, but it sure matters now.
Sometimes when you're helping another alcoholic and you're working with family members, they just don't understand this. I don't know, Cathy and I had to work on it real hard too. So not only do we deal with it with our clients, this is all something that
we both
of us have worked on for almost 20 years now. Yeah. So many people confuse helping with rescuing. Enabling often comes from good intentions. Yeah. So, good intentions. And that's the issue, is that people that are trying to help, their intentions are great.
They're always good.
Always good. I will never take that away.
No.
But the way they're trying to help, in many ways, 99.9% of the time, is doing more damage than good.
It's enabling them to continue in the behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Enabling often comes from good intentions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let's talk a little bit about some common motivations behind enabling. So this is how we can determine if we're in a healthy pattern or an unhealthy pattern. So some of those common enabling patterns might be fear of conflict. That was me. I did not like conflict.
And you still work on that.
I can work on it. I have to work on it every single day, but I don't like conflict. So fear of conflict is number one for me. The other, another motivation behind enabling is fear of losing a relationship. You know, sometimes we remain in harmful situations too long.
And that the harmful situations, not only this relationship, it could be job relationship, right?
Work relationships,
and a lot of that
friendships,
and a lot of that comes from a childhood that's got trauma.
Right, which we're going to talk about that as well too. Another motivation behind enabling might be guilt. Maybe you feel bad about something, or you know, guilt is something you've done wrong. But a lot of times we take on guilt when it's not ours, and so we have to be careful, because if we're taking on guilt that doesn't belong to us, how far are we carrying that guilt into an enabling?
You know, we had a client here this week, and that was exactly how he felt. He did nothing wrong. The other person made the choices.
Right.
He told them, no, let's not do it this way.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do this. And the other person made the choice.
Yeah. But he was carrying it.
And he was carrying the guilt of it. He still is, so we're working with him on that.
Yeah. Another thing that sometimes will cause us to become good enablers is our desire to fix or rescue. And I will tell you that long before I realized anything about codependency and my ability to enable, the desire to fix or rescue was probably the first one I realized. And that was when you first told me that you were abused. First thing I said is, okay, well, we're going to tell your auntie, we're going to tell your granny. And, you know, I thought I was going to fix this. And so I spent a good many years trying to fix you.
How'd that work for you?
It didn't work very good, because I got lost. I got lost in
and
myself
exhausted
and tired. But that, you know, that was my motive was right, but how I went about it was not right.
I want to say this. It's only because I believe this. It's only because I was able, and Cathy's the first person I ever told. I don't even know how it came out, why it came out. But I honestly believe, because I told her that when we were still dating, very early in our dating, that through the dark times that we had, coming back out of the affair, Cathy, I think that helped Cathy hold on.
Yeah.
I that's in my mind, whether it's true or not.
Yeah.
I believe that, because a lot of women, you're crazy. Why are you staying with them? And it's because Cathy knew the real me. And plus I took the action.
Right. But I also hung on to helping and fixing and doing all that. And part of that was just something that in my heart, I think it's because I knew deep down inside that there was a healthier person under there.
Can I ask you a question? What would have been a better way to help? I appreciate what you did, but let's look at this reality.
Yeah, at the time, I didn't think I had any other option.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't know what else there was to do. Today, knowing what I know today, it took us a while to get to a place of counseling. But the best thing I could have done is ask, what would help you? What can I do to help you? And I honestly don't even know if you would have known that answer at that time either. I think it took our experiences to get us where we are, to be honest with you. But it's very common to not know what to do to help somebody.
But at some point, it would have been wise for you to give me an ultimatum. I can't live this way anymore.
See, and I don't even think that way today. Of course I wouldn't have been.
Yeah, no, and
it's hard to think that way when you're healthy.
No, and I just gave somebody an ultimatum, or suggested they give an ultimatum the other day. It's something that needs to be talked about, because that oftentimes will work.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's just like either or.
But then to me, now this is just, I want to say this because I'm sure other people probably might feel this, that creates fear of conflict.
So
it's a cycle. It's a crazy cycle.
You see how this gets really out of whack.
You can stay in this cycle of enabling because one thing might lead to another. So, and then the last one is so true, is learn childhood roles.
Yeah.
As I was the first child, and so I learned childhood roles of how to take care of, not even have to take care of my brothers and sisters. You just kind of naturally grow into the fact that you're the oldest. You set the example, all of those things. So, an example of some of these things, and this is something that is very common, is that you might have a parent who repeatedly covers financial mistakes of an adult child. They're always, if they get in a car accident, they fix the car. If they get in a car accident as a result of bad behavior, they'll take care of getting their car fixed. If they say that they don't have any money, they'll give them money without, so there's just ways that as parents, it's real easy to cover their financial mistakes. So and that's enabling them to not learn from their mistakes.
So 3 quick points on this. In my life as a child, nothing I did was good enough. Never. It always could have been better. I was called stupid and needy. I don't know how many things. That's what happened to me as a child, emotional abuse. So I was seeking approval from a lot of people.
Right.
So I learned that I wasn't worth anything. So therefore, I'm going to do stuff and I need to get those validations, which it didn't happen. We were in Greece, 2009. Where did we go?
Gosh, I don't know.
2007?
That was a while ago.
I don't know, whenever we went. And I decided that I wanted to go to AA meeting. And it was in this old building at the very top floor. And there was about 8 of us in there, right? I was probably the only American in there. And I started listening to these guys, and they were all, every one of them, were trust fund kids. Every one of them.
Yep.
And their parents had cut them off. And here's the deal. Not one of them knew how to pay bills, go shopping, make their bed, or do laundry.
Right.
And I remember walking out of there going, And I told them all this. I says, I used to wish I was one of you guys, but now I'm glad I'm not. Yeah. And the fact is, my therapist told me that trust fund kids are the hardest to work with.
Yeah, they're hardest to break.
They just got too many entitlement issues.
Yeah. And that's, parents enable them to that point. Yeah. And now here they are giving them the consequences, which we're going to get into in a little bit, and they don't know how to do anything.
And I'm talking adults that were in their late 20s, 30s, and even 40s.
Yeah, no, we're talking not teens. So let's talk a little bit about what codependency is. I know a lot of times people think they don't understand the definition. I know I didn't for the longest time, but this definition was very clean and clear to me. But the definition of codependency is when a person's sense of identity, worth, or peace becomes tied to managing another person's life, emotions, or problems. I used to think that I depended on Randy. That was my codependency.
She called me God.
Codependency is when a person's sense of identity, worth, or peace becomes tied to managing another person's life, emotions, or problems. And in doing that, I honestly lost myself.
And another kind of definition that's a little simpler maybe is codependency is when I give up my happiness for somebody else's happiness.
Correct. Yep.
At
absolutely.
no cost.
So I want to share.
At whatever cost.
Yeah, I want to share some areas where codependency does show up. Most of these, we have experienced ourselves. Yep. So some of those areas might be addiction, mental health struggles, family conflict is another one. Adult-children relationships, and even in your marriage. So something that we want to remember is codependency often looks like love on the outside, but it's driven by fear or control on the inside.
Something else that I heard when we started doing our codependent work, and I put it in my first book, Healing the Wounded Child Within, is that codependency will kill a person faster than alcohol.
Yeah. Because it looks like love on the outside, but it's driven by fear and control on the inside. And if fear and control are running around inside your body on the inside, what's it doing to your organs? What's it doing to the blood flowing through your veins?
So I'm sure that is physically, it can kill faster. Right? But more than that, it's emotionally and spiritually that it just kills you.
Yeah, that's good.
So let's talk about some characteristics of codependency.
Yeah.
Will you untie my tongue for me? So, characteristics: people-pleasing, difficulty saying no.
No is a complete sentence.
That's a complete sentence. You need no explanation, no nothing. An example of that would be doing things you don't want to do just to avoid upsetting someone.
Avoiding that conflict.
If that person's upset, that's on them, not on you.
Right.
They got something going on in them that you don't even they don't even know about. really.
True.
So taking responsibility for other people's emotions. An example there is feeling responsible for someone else's happiness. Feeling guilty when others are upset.
Yeah.
We're not gods. We don't have the power to make anybody feel, say, or do anything they want to say, do, or feel.
Right.
Right? And we don't have that much power to make somebody feel guilty or upset.
Yeah.
That's on them.
Yeah. When you talked about this feeling responsible for someone else's happiness, I had a visual that.
Uh-oh.
So, talk about good codependent characteristic in me. When Randy would be upset, I would go as far as
You gotta tell
doing a
this
headstand against the wall just to make him smile, to make him laugh, to make him happy.
Truth.
So, there you go. I was trying to change your emotions.
At least you didn't throw stuff at me.
No, I did not do that.
You were not violent. Over-fixing or rescuing.
Yeah.
Examples, solving problems someone needs to face themselves. Constantly stepping in to prevent consequences.
Yeah.
So remember this. Offering unsolicited advice is the worst thing you can do.
It's a form of codependency.
Yeah, it's a form of codependency. And here's what we've discovered and what we do. This is how we practice with our clients. Other people need to be able to just talk. That's the biggest thing is people are hurt and they got childhood wounds, whatever wounds are coming from, emotional wounds. Sometimes they just need to talk and be heard without you giving them advice, especially if it's unsolicited, right?
Yeah, because if I'm giving you advice, I'm trying to fix it. And why am I trying to fix it? Sometimes, for me, it was because I was uncomfortable with your emotions.
Right.
So they all can just trickle down upon each other.
And then when somebody sits and listens, right, and hears you want to listen with intentionality. You want to listen to be able to hear and understand what they're saying. When that person's done talking to you, you say, man, that's got to have been rough. I don't know how I can help you, but just know this. I'll be here for you whenever you need to talk.
Can't fix them. Don't give them that advice because you can't help them.
If they ask for some, right? Don't say you need to do this or you need to talk off of your own experience. When I was dealing with this, and this is what helped me.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
Difficulty setting boundaries. For example, allowing disrespect.
Yeah.
That's a bad one. Overextending time, energy, or financing.
The thing about that is we say difficulty setting boundaries. The next step is we set the boundary, and then the difficulty becomes holding the boundary. So there's small steps. I'm just going to say setting boundaries is not an easy task, but this enables the codependency to keep going if you can't set those boundaries, and not just set them but hold them.
So allowing disrespect. I had a boss I worked for 10 years. And and I was his number one guy. And we took him from a backyard guy to doing a lot of big commercial jobs. And he was constantly disrespecting me. I didn't constantly, but I disrespected Cathy for a long time. First I didn't, and then I had those years where I just got nasty.
Yeah.
And here's something also that I want to, and some people are going to be mad at me, and that's okay. No child should ever be disrespected, and that child has a right to walk away and find somebody that he can talk to.
That they can trust.
The Bible says fathers do not, and parents do not provoke your child to anger to cause them to be discouraged.
It starts
there in Luke, I think it's in Luke and Matthew. If you harm one of my little ones and cause them to fall, you'd be better off with a millstone tied around your neck and thrown in the depths of the sea and drowned.
Yeah.
Those are all biblical, and that's Jesus talking.
Right. But we have to teach respect to our children so that they don't allow the disrespect as they get older and become adults.
Yeah, if you're not showing your children respect and honor, how do you expect them to respect you?
No, I understand. That's what I'm saying. It starts then, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, identity tied to being needed. So examples, feeling valuable only when helping, and feeling lost when not fixing someone.
Yeah, I can identify with those for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've talked about the characteristics of codependency, and there's many others, but these are probably the most common ones. Yeah. So what are the signs when helping has become enabling? When you think you're helping and then it's becoming enabling. So helping becomes enabling when you're protecting someone from natural consequences. If you're constantly protecting them from natural consequences, you're enabling them to continue in whatever that behavior might look like, whether it's drinking, whether it's, not telling the truth or not doing their homework or not. It can be all kinds of things. But if you continue to protect them, you're going to continue to enable them, and they'll never get to the consequences to learn from.
So some of that protection looks like this. Your son, for some reason, daughter gets thrown in jail. Mom, come bail me out.
Okay, what we're saying is not easy. I know that.
No, none of this is easy, right? And, I don't know where I'm going to get the money. But I know you got money. You can get it from Uncle Joe. Please come bail me out. Mom, don't bail him out. I know that's hard because you want your child to be safe. But by bailing him out,
he has no consequences.
Yeah, there's no consequences, and his behavior's not going to change. And that's same thing with money. Same thing with loaning money. Right. Same thing. Either you get help for your drug and alcohol issues, or I'm going to lock the front door. You're no longer welcome in this house. Right. Those are all very hard, but those are the consequences that sometimes people got to get to change.
Because their behavior will continue without that change.
Absolutely.
Another one. This is where I finally got to a place, is that you feel exhausted or resentful. Yep. Or I can say I felt exhausted and resentful. Yep. Exhaustion and resentful, they'll go hand in hand.
Well, the more exhausted we become, the more resentful we become.
Right, exactly. Right. And then here's another one too, is the other person becomes more dependent on you. So now all of a sudden your kid or your husband or your wife, they're becoming more and more dependent on you because you keep enabling them.
Yeah.
And then, which I also relate to, is what ultimately happens is that my own needs, your own needs, are constantly ignored.
Consistently ignored.
Consistently ignored. Consistently, right. Always. Yeah. For the most part, our feelings are ignored. Our needs are ignored. So here's something to ponder in this. This is something that's...
this is really good.
Yeah, I think that what we have to remember is helping empowers someone. Enabling keeps them stuck.
That is the strongest statement of this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Enabling keeps them stuck.
Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, am I helping or enabling? If I'm helping, I'm empowering. If I'm enabling, I'm keeping them stuck. Right. Yeah, that's good.
So why do people fall into enabling? Some common reasons are childhood roles, caretaker child.
That was me.
Trauma bonding, fear of abandonment. Yeah. That's a big one because a lot of kids, in one way or another, and it's just hard to get kids to look at and teenagers to look at, have been abandoned by one or both of their parents. Maybe not physically, right? They're there, but emotionally, spiritually, they don't. So there's a big thing of abandonment going on a lot of people.
Well, and that just carries in. If you've had any fear of abandonment as a child growing up, that's carried into your adult relationships.
Into your adult relationships, yeah, absolutely. That's why I say it's like. That's something, unless somebody gets help at a young age, that's going to carry into their adult. Over, yeah. Matter of fact, that's why I'm writing my next book, Understanding the Long-Term Effects of Child Abuse, right? Because that's one of them there, right? So another reason is religious or cultural pressures to sacrifice, and that's big in this world today. A lot of religions, a lot of parents, don't worry about your happiness. You got to sacrifice yourself in order to make other people for somebody else. Mm-hmm. Misunderstanding love, man, those are all tough. We're helping somebody constantly, enabling them constantly, and it's a misunderstanding. It's misunderstanding love. But how long before you do that, before that misunderstanding love becomes resentment?
Mm-hmm. Oh, over time, it'll happen.
It always happens.
Yeah, it always happens.
So an important insight here is many enablers were once survivors. Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
Right, and they're actually the advice that they might be giving you, enabling you with, they wish somebody would have done to them.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. So how do we move? How do we move from enabling to healthy support? For me, it took quite a bit. But there are some practical shifts that we can look at and that we can start applying. So the first one is allow the consequences to happen.
You talked about that a little bit
Growth
earlier.
happens through those consequences.
Yep.
You're not going to help anybody unless they have the consequences, and they aren't going to help themselves unless they have the consequences.
Absolutely.
And then we talked about setting loving boundaries. Boundaries, remember, protect the relationship. And remember, when we set a boundary, we're setting the boundary for us to protect our relationship with that other person. Right. And then the other thing that's really, I think number 3 really hits me, is stop owning what isn't yours. You can care about someone without carrying their life, without carrying their burdens, without carrying their problems. Love them, but you don't have to own what doesn't belong to you.
I think that goes back to something I said earlier, where you might set the boundary or do something, and that other person gets really upset with you. I need you to understand this. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah, you might have said something, but you're just speaking the truth. And that other person was triggered by trigger he didn't even know he had.
Nope.
So it's like it's on that other person. Like I said, you don't have the power to make anybody angry.
No,
that's something going on within themselves that they just can't deal with.
Right. And the last one, this is when it really, the fireworks went off for me. Everything was there, is focus on your own healing.
Yeah.
Healing reduces the urge to rescue. And I will say that, when we first started this journey, Randy started his program 2 years before I did. I just kind of sat back and watched. But once I started working on my own healing, it took that urge away. I thought, he can do his thing, I have to do mine. And we came together in a much healthier way. So focus on your own healing. And if you don't know what that looks like, contact us at Heal and Restore. We're going to be able to help you out with that. So
something Cathy and I live by, and it was in the big book of AA. You cannot transmit something you do not have. You cannot, listen to this, you cannot transmit something you do not have. A lot of people can talk about pain. They can kind of understand it. But how many of those people that you talk to about pain have truly done their own healing and understand how hard the healing process is and what it takes to heal from that childhood pain, childhood trauma, whatever it is? That's where you got to be careful.
Okay.
Again, because people, great intentions, but I can't tell you honestly, and I love my therapist. She was great. I can't tell you how many people have told us, clients of ours and other people, I'll never go back to that therapist because she did more damage than good. Right. This pastor put more shame in me than I walked in the building with. I cannot tell you how often that happens. Right. So we got to be careful.
Yeah. So a little word of encouragement, little words of hope. And this is where we want to kind of just start wrapping this up with. We've talked about boundaries. And remember that setting boundaries, it does not mean you're abandoning somebody.
No, not at all.
It means you love yourself enough to set the boundary.
And it hurts.
Yes, but you're setting the boundary because you love yourself enough and you love the other person enough to set the boundary.
But that's still going to hurt.
It's still not easy.
No.
It's still very difficult to do. But love yourself and love that other person enough to set a boundary.
Exactly.
And to hold the boundary. I keep saying just set the boundary. Got to hold that
the
boundary.
The hard part is holding the boundary. Yeah. Okay, I said it.
Yeah.
So sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back and allow someone to face the reality consequences. Real love tells the truth, right? And it does not pat you on the back.
No.
If you're enabling somebody, you're not truly loving them.
Yeah, real love is embracing the truth.
It's embracing the truth
and telling the truth
in a loving way. Yeah. And it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we feel.
Can't help without real love.
No. So if today's conversation resonated with you, you may be realizing that helping has slowly turned into enabling in one of your relationships.
One or more, because you're not just codependent with one person. Some of those characteristics turn over in others. And I know for me, it fed out into my work environment as well.
Real quick before we go into the final action, closing stuff. One of the ways, because we're talking about setting boundaries and how hard it can be. One of the ways, big ways I had to set boundaries, I had a contractor I worked for about 10 years. I was a Mason Con, he was the GC. And guy, I mean, I just stay constantly busy with the guy. So little extras would come up on the job, nothing major, that I'd do it because I'd make it up on the next job. Well, when I got into recovery and I realized, and when the economy started changing, I wasn't so important to him anymore. So on his jobs, when little things would come up, I wouldn't do it until I had a change order. And boy, they were upset. I figured, well, I'm going to lose all his work now. But no, I didn't. But I said, no, from now on, if it's not on my contract, it's nothing I bid, you're going to pay for it.
You set the boundary.
I set the boundary. And it was difficult out of fear that I'm going to lose any work from that guy, which I eventually did, but it was the economy, not me.
Right, yeah.
So that's some of the things that you might face.
Yeah, setting boundaries are not easy, but they're necessary, definitely. So healing from codependency is possible. I'm still working on it. I don't know if we completely heal, but we continue the healing journey.
Exactly.
And if you don't, just remember, you don't have to navigate it alone. If you don't understand codependency, feel like you're in codependency, that's what we're here for.
It's like Alcoholics Anonymous recovery, right? I have to make sure every day that I don't drink. The obsession's been taken from me for drugs and alcohol. It pops up, the thought pops up. But I have to make healthy choices on a daily basis. I'm not going to drink no matter what. Yep. I mean, I've had some horrific physical things I went through that probably would have caused a lot of people to say, the heck with it, I'm just going to drink.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't do that. Right?
Thank God.
All right. So, call to action. Here we go. At Heal and Restore Counseling, we offer a no-cost 1-hour discovery session where individuals and couples can begin identifying patterns and take the first step toward healing. Don't lose hope. Healing is possible and it can begin today. Yeah. To schedule your discovery session, it's real simple. It doesn't cost you nothing, just your time and our time, and we're glad to give it to you. Visit www.healandrestorecounseling.com.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And as we close out this episode, we have created, I did some work on this, some reflection questions for you, our listeners. And these are great questions.
Actually, Cathy puts a lot of these together. Well, I do a little input, but she's become really good at putting these together.
Thank you, honey. Of course. So here's some reflection questions related to this particular topic in this episode. And so take some time to ponder these, write them out, journal about them. And the first one is, where in my life might helping have become enabling?
Good question.
Maybe it's not happening now, but maybe it's happened in the past, or maybe it is happening now. Right. So where in my life might helping have become enabling?
This is a big one.
The other one is, do I feel responsible for other people's emotions or outcomes? Think about that. Do I feel responsible for other people's emotions or outcomes?
Remember, you don't have that power.
But you might feel responsible, so you've got to look at that. The third one would be, what fears make it hard for me to set boundaries? Because it's hard to set boundaries, and there's typically a fear under that. So what fears make it hard for me to set boundaries? And another question you might ask yourself is, how might my childhood rules influence my current relationship? Right. That's a hard one, because you really got to look at your childhood at that point. But how might my childhood rules influence my current relationships?
Again, that's why I'm writing that new book. It's those childhood issues will show up in the marriage, not right up front. No. Sometime in the marriage, they're going to start popping their head.
Marriage, relationship, family, friends, it shows up in all kinds of places. And a final question is, what is one boundary I may need to begin practicing? What is one boundary I may need to begin practicing?
And make it a small one and a simple one to start. Don't try to make this gigantic boundary that you might know you need to set, but find something small. Start small. You don't have to chop down the redwood at the first day. Okay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, this was a good topic. It's a hard topic, but it also was a good topic. It feels good to be able to talk about these, because it's allowing me to reflect on some of the things, both past, present, and hopefully things I can develop and change in my future.
So, Cathy and I got only one thing we ask of you guys, right? That you share this podcast.
Yeah. If it resonated with you, share it away.
Share it away. Even if you think somebody might need it or might not.
I'm going to do a challenge. Send it to 3 people.
Yeah, there you go. Just randomly.
Yeah. Just copy the link and send it off.
Absolutely.
3.
Like it, and press the subscribe button. It's not going to hurt. It takes you 1 second. We just need to get more people listening to this podcast.
And we're on all of the listening platforms, like 7 or 8 platforms, but we also upload these on YouTube each week. Right. We have postings in our Instagram and Facebook pages as well. So find us, share us, listen, spread the word.
Yeah, please do, because we know that our work has helped many, many people, and we know that these podcasts are finally starting to get out and help some people too.
So we're grateful for that. Definitely.
All right. Are we done?
I'm done.
Okay, bye.
You're so
Remember, if nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a great week.
Great week.